Hello everyone, welcome to C2TA. So today we will see what is Jira and why we need Jira and how to use Jira. Right, so what is Jira? Originally Jira was designed as a bug and issue tracker, but today Jira has evolved into a powerful work management tool for all kinds of use cases, from requirements and test case management to agile software development. And we need Jira to track the project or issues. Let's see how to use Jira. So once we log in into the Jira application, we can see stories available in the backlog, and then we can see the active sprint stories as well, like this. So before going further, let's see what is sprint and what is backlog as well. So most of the industries already started following the agile methodology, and in the agile methodology we have a term called sprint. A sprint is a duration of 2 weeks usually, right? So for example, in day 1 of the sprint we'll have a sprint planning meeting. So usually the business analyst or product owner, they'll create a stories. Stories is nothing but the requirements. Stories is like a non-technical language where anyone can understand, right? So they'll break down their requirement into stories and they'll put it in the backlog. Backlog means all the stories that they have planned for the specific project. And in the sprint planning, they'll explain, for example, I have 100 stories for the specific project, but for this sprint is only for 2 weeks, right? So for this sprint, they'll come up with 5 to 10 stories and they'll explain the stories to the developers and testers. Right, so usually in the sprint plan meeting we have product owner or business analyst and then development team including developers and testers and the scrum master or the participants. So once the product owner or business analyst explains the stories to the development team, then if they have any queries, they'll get it cleared in front of the product owner in the sprint planning meeting itself. Suppose product owner or business analyst wants to take 10 stories for this sprint and the developer and testers can only capable of completing 5 to 6 stories for this sprint, then the development team has to approach scrum master and tell scrum master that we can complete only 5 to 6 stories for this sprint. Then the scrum master will convince the product owner based on the availability and acceptability of developers and testers. So once they are convinced, then we have selected specific number of stories for this sprint, right? Then the next task will be we need to put a story point for each and every story. So what is story points? Usually story points is in Fibonacci series like this 2, 3, 5, 8, 13. So here 2 will be, for example, if any of the stories that can be completed within 1 hour, then we can put the story point as 2. If the story can be finished within 2 hours, then you can put it as 3. Same way for half a day you can put 5, for 1 day you can put 8, and for 2 days it is 13. But make sure we have 2 as the minimum number and 13 as the maximum number. Suppose if any of the stories that can only complete that will take more than 2 days, then we need to inform the scrum master to break down the stories into multiple, so that the maximum point for each story will be 13 and the minimum will be 2, right? Let me go to the Jira board. As you see here, so this is my story. When I click on the story, I can see the story points here. So here I have to mention, for example, if it is 2, then I can put 2 and just click on OK. So this 2 is nothing but this is the effort that we need to put for this story, which means 2 means as I mentioned earlier, it will be 1 hour. But still this Fibonacci series values are not fixed. For example, here I have mentioned like 2 is for 1 hour, 3 is for 2 hours. So depends on the company, they can assign or they can change this as well. but in most of the companies this is how they are following. So once the story points are assigned, then they need to, for example, I have set of developers and testers in my team. Then what they need to do means they need to understand the story, and based on the complexity and based on the experience of the developers and testers, they have to divide the stories between themselves. For example, if this is the story which takes less hours, and this is a simple story means, then we can assign this story to a fresher or less experienced people. Whereas if you see this story 3 which has 18 hours of work, right, so then the complexity is bit high compared to other stories, so this will be assigned to the some experienced developer or tester. Once the story points are assigned, then the developer and tester has to create the task under each stories. So that, for example, this is the story. In this story, developer has to do some 2 or 3 tasks, whereas the tester has to do some 2 or 3 tasks as well. So usually the tester's task will be test case creation, test execution, test case review. If there are any automation related thing, then they can add it as well. Right, so to create the subtask, you need to click on the story, and you can see an option here, create subtask. Just click on that and put the description or title here, then click on create. So your task will be added like this. So on the day 1 sprint planning, we will do the story selection, and then we will complete the story points adding, and then the last thing is we need to finish the task creation. So from day 2 onwards, we will go with the daily scrum. So what will happen in the daily scrum is, like, we need to know what we have to do today or what we are doing already, and then any of the task completed or not. So usually in the Jira board, let me go back to Jira once again, we have 3 columns here. So this is what the scrum board looks like. So we have 3 columns: to do, in progress, and done. Right? So for example, currently I am working on this task, then I have to move this task from to-do list to in progress just by drag and drop. So if I want to add any comments, I have some questions which I want to ask BA means, then I have to open this task, and in the comment I have to put @ and then I can add any of the, for example, if Gugan is the business analyst, then I have to select his name and I can ask my question here. Like this, and click on save. So once we are tagging the business analyst, then whoever we are tagged here, that person will get an email alert as well. Then they can go to this Jira and they can reply the same comment in the comments as well. Once this task is done, then we have to drag and drop into the done, which means this task is completed. Once if all the tasks are completed in the story, then which means the story itself is completed as well. Usually in the stand-up call, we have to tell the Scrum Master that what I did yesterday, what I'm going to do, and if there are any blockers for me in today's task, then I have to highlight it into the stand-up call, so that everyone will be aware that I'm blocked due to this issue. Then the Scrum Master or technical lead will take care of that blocker and they'll get it resolved. So these are the basic activities of testers or developers they can do in Jira. First thing is they have to assign the stories to themselves, and they have to create the task, and they can add the comment, and they can move the status just by dragging from to-do list to in progress, and from in progress to done as well. In the next session, we will see how to create a bug and the remaining options as well. So this is our website. We are conducting courses for all automation related courses like Java, Selenium, REST Assured, APM, as well, and you can see the materials added here in this page as well, so you can download and make use of it, and you can contact us here. Thank you.